As a leader, a lot of people avoid them because they're tough, because they're difficult, because they're uncomfortable. But if you avoid them for too long, it gets worse, right? Imagine if you let things just fester and you let things get worse over time, then you will notice that people will begin to resent you. People will begin to pull away. If you don't address someone's lack of respect of women in the office, or you don't address someone's performance issues, or someone being late, or someone not being prepared for meetings, and someone not being aligned with the values of the company, then you will be known as someone who is not a good leader, period.
Welcome to Grow Think Tank. This is the one and only place where you will get insight from the founders and the CEOs of the fastest growing privately held companies. I am the host. My name is Gene Hammett. I help leaders and their teams navigate the defining moments of their growth. Are you ready to grow?
Today, we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, tough conversations. Here's the book, How to Have Tough Conversations. You see if you're watching the video, you see this neon sign behind my head. Tough conversations as a leader is something that's not going to go away. You're not going to, get to a point inside your career and you say, I don't have to do that anymore. Now, you may think that that's where you've empowered everyone else around you, but what happens when the people you've empowered are out of alignment? It's up to you. So let's look at this as a skill. The tough conversations that you have in front of you are a skill that you can get better at. I'm going to give you a couple of things to think about as you do this. I'm going to give you some free resources. If you want to buy the book, absolutely, to go deeper into the book. But I just want to make sure that you receive everything I can give you for free in this short little video, because it's such an important element to you being a better leader, to you giving feedback to others and helping them grow, to you getting performance issues addressed quickly and fast. And then you also want to make sure that whenever there's conflict, that you're not ignoring it, you're not letting it fester. So let's talk a little bit about tough conversations from this perspective of, as a leader, a lot of people avoid them because they're tough, because they're difficult, because they're uncomfortable. But if you avoid them for too long, it gets worse, right? Imagine if you let things just fester and you let things get worse over time, then you will notice that people will begin to resent you. People will begin to pull away. If you don't address someone's lack of respect of women in the office, or you don't address someone's performance issues, or someone being late, or someone not being prepared for meetings, and someone not being aligned with the values of the company, then you will be known as someone who is not a good leader, period. Because you let those things go, because they will say, a good leader will do this. I was watching a stupid TV show the other day with my wife. I'm embarrassed to tell you this, but Selling Sunset. And it's a group of very attractive women. They're dressed up like they're going to ball gown things. And it's, reality TV. So you may judge me for that right away, but this was literally just to turn my brain off. And I was looking at the fighting that happens inside the company. And the leaders of this company refuse to address it. If they did address it, they addressed it poorly. And so I am sharing this with you from my heart. Don't be that kind of leader. Be the kind of leader that can see something and then say something. I know that that's a cliche out there, but it is very true. The thing that you have to really shift, I think, in order to become better at this, is it isn't something that you have to do. It's something that you get to do. A tough conversation is a gift. When someone's out of alignment, you get to have the kind of conversation that lets you understand where they're coming from, or lets you, lay down the boundaries of what you expect of them and set your expectations. 9 times out of 10, every time I ask a leader, how did you contribute to this issue at this moment? It's, I didn't set clear enough expectations, or I didn't address it earlier. It's one of those two things. I didn't set clear enough expectations, or I didn't address it earlier. So you want to make sure that you see this as you get to have a tough conversation. You get to do that. Now, inside the free resources, which if you want to download them, happy to do that for you. Go to howtohavetoughconversations.com and download the resources that will help you right away. You don't even have to buy the book. And it really will help you. There's 2 main things inside there. The first one is the phases. There's 4 phases. I'm not going to unpack them today, but the first one is basically understand and clarify. Your ability to ask questions, be curious, and then clarify what you expect of them. If you do that early and often, you will have less problems with tough conversations. And this is the easiest type of tough conversation to have. You're just addressing something that they don't, maybe it's a blind spot to them or something, or just needs to be addressed. And you can ask questions. That's the understand part. And then you can clarify, which is you setting expectations for them. And when you do this well, everything else will get easier. So the 4 phases are inside those resources. And another part of that is the actual framework. And the biggest part of the framework that I think people miss is once they get the courage to have the conversation, they just dive in. Please don't be that person. Take a little bit of time and be intentional. If this was a big meeting that you had for your company strategy moving forward, you wouldn't just show up in the meeting and dive in, would you? You would do some research, some thinking. You would maybe even jot down some ideas, things that you feel like we need to look at, or we need to change, or we need to move on, and opportunities in front of you. You don't come in just cold and hoping to figure it out. The worst time to find out what you want to say is in the moment. From Phil Jones. He's a speaker, a friend of mine. And I remind you of this, make a plan. When you have a tough conversation on the horizon, sit down and make a plan. And actually, if you do download the resources, there's a few questions in there. I give you my favorite questions of how to make a plan so that you show up confident, you show up really prepared for that meeting, and it will go much better when you do that. All that being said, the tough conversations as a leader is extremely important, and you want to make sure that you do it well. And so if you want to buy the book and support me, I think I make $2 a book or something like that. It's on Audible, it's on print. If you want to just get the resources, go to howtohavetoughconversations.com and download the resources today. That's my take today. I'm Gene Hammett. I am the executive coach here. I am also the co-founder of Core Elevation. We really believe that CEO development is such an important piece to it that it is a central part of a company's growing. But you don't stop there. You've got to have C-suite alignment, so that's the next level. And then below that, you have manager development. We do leadership development for managers. And if you are curious about any of those things and how they work together and how they really help create predictable companies, companies that are really adaptable, and companies that you will enjoy working at, then you can actually check and have a conversation about that. When you think of growth, when you think of leadership, think of Growth Think Tank. As always, with courage, we'll see you next time.